It's safe to say that neither you nor anyone you know has actually experienced this reality, being a human being in a sober state. It's safe to say that. There is a 99% chance that you, the watcher of this video, have not experienced this reality sober, and you don't know anyone who has actually experienced this reality sober. Because this socioeconomic matrix, see, I forgot to mention something in the previous video about the institutions that are used to control this matrix. I forgot to mention the food industry. That's a huge one, right? A huge one. So everyone on the planet is drugged. Everyone you know, including you, you're all drugged. I am drugged. We're all drugged. Now, certain drugs can completely numb you down and completely hijack your consciousness, and others can do it partially, and others can do it to a small degree or a large degree. So, I'm going to talk about the top 5 drugs that are used to keep everyone in a drugged state, in a numbed state, in a hijacked state of consciousness. Okay? So, the first and the most obvious drug is food. Food. Okay, I'm gonna say 5 of them and I'm gonna talk about each one of them briefly. The first one is food. The second one is alcohol. Third one is cigarettes. Fourth one is pharmaceutical drugs. And fifth one is street drugs such as cocaine, heroin, amphetamines like meth, etc., 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 etc. So I'm gonna start with food here. Food is by far the most abused drug on the planet. Now you may say, well, what about eating healthy? Is that a drug or is that something I need? Okay, quickly. Human beings. And you may be like, you're an idiot, you're a fool, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna say it how it is. Human beings are beings of pure light. We do not need to feed on anything. Okay, we do not need to feed on anything. However, if we're gonna feed on something, the only thing that really belongs in here is alkaline foods, basically fruits that leave everything out. Okay, even fruits in themselves, they're also drugs because there you have the sugar molecule there which creates dependency, etc., etc., etc. Okay, look, human beings are beings of light. If we activate our energies, more of our DNA strands, the kundalini energy, and if we really work with the energies that are surrounding us at all times, then food becomes nothing more than an experience like listening to music. You do not need to listen to music to survive or thrive. You do not need to eat to survive or thrive. That's exact same thing. But there's a program that is installed on this entire matrix. So you may say, well, animals eat. Animals are part of the program. Animals follow everything humans do. The entire system, the entire matrix is completely hijacked. So, there's a program installed, a belief system, which is you need food to survive. Okay, so that's already bad enough, but the foods that we're being given are drugs. They're drugs. They're destructive to the human body. Destructive. They drug you. They numb you down. They numb you down. They drug you. You're completely drugged. You're hijacked. You're hijacked. You ever catch yourself like starting to eat, and then you're like, you go on a frenzy. You eat this and you eat this and you eat this, and then an hour later you go to the kitchen and you open this jar and you right? It's like it hijacks your state of consciousness, hijacks your peace, fills you with lust for earthly things. You're lusting. You're full of these lower desires. So this is the most abused drug and the most difficult one to wean yourself off of. Why is that? Because it's culturally sanctioned and socially acceptable. And in fact, humans don't do anything without some form of food on the table. Let's sit down on the dinner table and eat, right? Let's all sit down and indulge in this drug. And that drug hijacks your state of consciousness. Now, again, certain drugs, like if you're eating fruits, that's a lot less addictive, although it can be very addictive. It can be still addictive. The sugar can really be addictive. The taste, the sugary taste can be really addictive. And so you're in a hijacked state of consciousness, right? You're dependent. It creates dependency. Instead of, if you're dependent on music, for instance, you're an addict, you're a music addict. If you can't function without music, it's the same thing. If you can't function without having your taste buds stimulated, then you're an addict also. So food is by far the number one most abused drug because of it being socially acceptable and culturally sanctioned. Okay, I don't even want to have this discussion right now. I make videos on breatharianism. You can check it out. I'm not gonna go into this. The bottom line, human beings are beings of light, and food is there like listening to music and experience, something you just, for taste, but it's not there that you need it. So, number two, alcohol. Alcohol is a straight poison. Straight poison. Okay, whenever you consume any amount of alcohol, you're putting in straight poison into your body. Okay, now look at how much alcohol is promoted worldwide. You're sitting there watching a Champions League, the football game, right? And you're watching a football game, and you have, before the game, during in the halftime, and after, you have Heineken. It's a beer company, right? Sponsors this mega event that millions of people tune into. You look at the Super Bowl, same thing. You've got all kinds of beers and everything, and it's like worldwide promoted, encouraged, promoted. It even, like, in certain places, in certain like subcultures, like it's associated with your manhood. The more you can drink, the more of a man you are, right? So this is all deliberate by the cabal, by the bloodlines, the people who run this world. It's by deliberate. Because they want to keep everybody numbed down, everybody drugged, everybody in a state of misery, in a state of pain, and give that pain and misery, that loosh, to the reptilians, to the fourth density negative beings that are the sort of the hijackers of this matrix. So, alcohol. So when we look at places like North America, Europe, South America, Southeast Asia, many places in the world, that's their drug. That's the drug that's promoted. Now, what about other places where alcohol is forbidden, like Muslim countries? Well, we got another drug here, which is cigarettes. So now, of course, in countries like, for instance, I was in Georgia. People, I think 120% of the Georgian population smokes, right? Of course, it's not what it is, but I'm telling you, because everywhere you go, you smell smokes, but they also drink. So it's not that, in certain places it's just alcohol, in certain places it's just cigarettes. It's both, but in places where they couldn't get the alcohol thing there for whatever reason, they got the cigarette there. So I grew up in the Middle East, and people, they smoke cigarettes like it's candy, like it's nothing, like it's peanuts. Cigarette after cigarette after cigarette after cigarette, right? So in these countries, then you got this cigarette consumption. And of course, that's also straight poison into your body. And again, cigarettes are everywhere. Everywhere you go in the world, you can get cigarettes. Everywhere in the world, you can get alcohol. Places where you can't, where it's forbidden for this reason or that reason, then, cigarettes there are more heavily pushed, more heavily advertised. Now, just to go back to the food, of course, you want to really be careful of any food that you can find anywhere in the world. So, you know how you can find the bag of Lay's, the chips everywhere in the world, no matter where you travel? You want to be careful of that, because that's being pushed worldwide. There's something in there that's causing you pain, misery, suffering, fatigue, and hijacking your state of consciousness. Okay, so be careful of anything that you can find anywhere in the world. Like at any demand, in any supermarket you go, you're gonna find a bag of Lay's. Be careful. Okay, so now down to the fourth one: pharmaceutical drugs. Now this is smart by the cabal, because it's pushed in the name of, I'm gonna help you. Right? So if you have a headache, take Advil or Tylenol. So, for instance, I mean, these things they're full of poisons, also full of toxins, full of poisons and side effects. Right? Why do you think every pharmaceutical has side effects? Like that's like just a common thing. Every pharmaceutical must come with a side effect. That's being done on purpose. That's being done on purpose, folks. Okay, so that's another drug, but that one, they're really smart about it, because that, problem, reaction, solution. They cause the problem by giving you all this food and the alcohol and the cigarette and the chemtrails and all that. Then reaction, we need to give you something to ease up the symptoms. solution here are pharmaceutical drugs. Same thing. It's all to cause misery and pain and hijack your state of consciousness and keep you vibrating in the lower chakras, in the shadow side of the lower chakras. And yeah, you can stay stuck in the samsara, because when you're feeling and icky and painful, you act shitty to others, you create bad karma, and then you're further stuck in the cycle, and they can continue to feed off your energy, continue to feed off the loosh. So the pharmaceuticals, in the name of help, in the name of, they've got the medical establishment in their pockets. Then number 5, street drugs like heroin, cocaine, amphetamines, and they target people living in poverty with these street drugs. They target people who live in poverty. So all these cartels, for instance, all these cartels in Central and South America that are smuggling the cocaine and distributing the cocaine and everything, those are all run by the cabal. MS-13, right? MS-13 is like the world's biggest gang. That's entirely run by the cabal. You see? So yeah, you've got all these street drugs, the hard drugs, and that's mostly targeting the poverty. So for every class, for the middle class, the upper class, the lower class, they've got something. So you got the cocaine for the upper class, right? The rich folks. And then you've got meth and crack cocaine and heroin. And amphetamines for the lower class. Then for like the students, you got things like pharmaceuticals, Adderall. Oh, I've got ADHD, right? Adderall, so the study drug. You take it and you study and you stay up. And then oh, how did I forget? Maybe we'll just put this in the food and beverage. Coffee. We'll put this food and beverages, right? So beverages. We got caffeine, coffee, folks. Coffee. Terrible drug. It's everyone's so dependent on it. Why? Because everyone wakes up because they're in a state of drugness and their body just wants to detox, and all you want to do is just lay around in bed. And then you drink this coffee thing, and it stimulates you, kicks you out of the detoxification, kicks you out of the body's trying to always heal, and then it causes adrenaline, and it makes you awake for a certain period of time, so you could go and do the mindless work that you're doing to begin with. And over time of doing this, you destroy your gut microbiome, you destroy your gut, you destroy your immune system, you create so much acidity in your body and dependence on the coffee. Terrible. Wow. The entire world is drugged up. Do you see now why you, and again, maybe 1 or 2% of you watchers have not experienced this reality, have experienced reality in sober state. I haven't. Okay, I haven't. I'm still, I'm not doing alcohol anymore, not doing cigarettes anymore, not doing pharmaceuticals anymore. I've experimented shortly with some street drugs, but I'm not doing coffee, but I'm still like dependent on the food drug, basically on the sugar thing. That's like the last drug. Like the food is the most difficult one. Food is the most difficult one, folks. This is the most difficult one because it's so socially acceptable and culturally sanctioned, and you've been indoctrinated by this drug into this drug basically since you were in your early years. So this is the most difficult one. Try and go 3 days without food, just on water, and just look at all, like, you're gonna experience withdrawal symptoms like with any other drugs, and look at all your cravings, like the dependency that you have on food for stimulation or for just to feel good, for the dopamine rush. You see? So take care of your temple, take care of your body. The war is on your body. The war is on your physical health. It's on your body. If they can hijack your health, they can hijack everything else. If they can make you tired and fatigued and numbed, what chance do you think you have to awaken? What chance do you think you have to feel well, to feel self-reliant? Nothing. No chance. So this is the war. The war is on your physical system. It's on your temple. So clean up the temple. Take care of your temple. Clean up the temple. Okay, folks? Thank you to all the Patreons for your continuous support. Thank you to all the people who support this channel through PayPal, the one-time donations. Big kisses for you guys. Love you. Love every single one of you. And I will see you in the next video.